Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Thank you for joining us. Merci d'être parmi nous aujourd'hui. My name is Kina Leclerc, and I will be your moderator. Before we begin, please note that this press conference includes simultaneous and sign language interpretation services. It's available either in full French or in full English. If you're watching the live stream, you can find our stream in each language on YouTube. Simply search our channels at City of Ottawa or Ville d'Ottawa. A note to media outlets joining us on Zoom, if you would like audio interpretation, click the interpretation globe icon in the bottom menu, then select your preferred language. You can ask your questions in the language of your choice. If you have any questions, please contact Media Relations. Today, we'll be hearing remarks from Mayor Jim Watson, Kim Ayotte, General Manager, Emergency and Protective Services, Directeur Général des Services de Protection et d'Urgence, and Interim Chief Steve Bell, Ottawa Police Service. Also joining us to answer questions following the remarks, we have Councillor Elle Chantiri, Chair of Ottawa's Police Services Board, Inspector François Daou, Executive Officer, Ottawa Police Service, Pat Scrimger, Director, Transit Customer Systems and Planning, and Phil Landry, Director, Traffic Services. At this time, I would like to invite His Worship, Jim Watson, Mayor of the City of Ottawa, to say a few words.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you, Kina, and good morning, everyone. The City of Ottawa is working closely with Canadian Heritage, the National Capital Commission, the Ottawa Police Service, and many other partners to coordinate a safe and festive Canada Day celebration here in the nation's capital. After 2 long years of virtual celebrations, Canada Day 2022 is returning with live programming at Le Breton Flats in Ottawa and Place des Festivals Zibi in Gatineau. Residents and downtown businesses have expressed concerns, rightfully so, about possible protests on Canada Day and beyond. I want to assure everyone that the RCMP, Ottawa Police, Police de Gatineau, and the Parliamentary Protective Service are fully prepared to respond to any situation. The city's Emergency Operations Center will be mobilized to support the Ottawa Police Service and to coordinate city services throughout the long weekend. As I've said previously, this is the day for families and children and for everyone who wants to celebrate the diversity of languages and culture that make our country strong and free. There's a great lineup of shows and events on Friday, and we're looking forward to welcoming people from across the country, and in fact, around the world, to enjoy our beautiful city and all that Ottawa has to offer. We won't be intimidated by any group that plans to disrupt the celebrations. We're prepared, and we will not tolerate any illegal activity by anyone. Residents and visitors have questions about transit services, road closures, crowd control, parking, and many other aspects of our preparations that we'll be answering today. Getting around downtown on Canada Day will be more complicated than usual this year. Residents are encouraged to plan ahead and to expect delays. Roads will be monitored in the days before and after July 1st, and extra street closures and restrictions will be in place on Canada Day. Maps and information are available on the city's website, ottawa.ca, and at octranspo.com, and on the Canadian Heritage website. Public transit is your best option for getting around on Canada Day, and OC Transpo is offering no-charge special service for buses and trains. The Ottawa Police Service will provide up-to-date information, as will the City of Ottawa and our traffic operations through social media channels and the city's website. You've probably seen there are a lot of fake and false websites going up. You have to rely on the verified sites of Ottawa Police, OC Transpo, and the City of Ottawa. Now, let's remember that Canada Day is a celebration of our history and our diversity. We honor the heritage, customs, and contributions of Indigenous peoples native to these lands as we reaffirm our commitment to equity, inclusion, and mutual respect. Celebrations and community events with family and friends will be taking place across the city, not just in the downtown. And Ottawa bylaw, Ottawa Police, and their officers will have additional resources to ensure safety of all of our communities. I know residents have concern, and we've organized this press conference with OPS and content experts to provide the information you need to have a safe and fun Canada Day. Our citizens and the residents of Canada are not going to be bullied, and they're not going to be dissuaded from coming down and celebrating this beautiful country we call Canada. So I encourage people to come and have a peaceful and joyous occasion in our nation's capital. And those people who are coming here to disrupt those wonderful celebrations will be dealt with the full force of the law. And they're not going to be warnings and second chances. If the law is broken, regardless of who breaks it, there'll be consequences. This is a time to celebrate our great country. I now will hand things over to Kim Ayotte, the General Manager, Emergency and Protective Services, who will respond for media questions following an update from Police Chief Steve Bell. Merci. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Watson. For several weeks, the city's been fully engaged with the Ottawa Police Service and other partners to create and support a public safety plan that allows people throughout Ottawa to enjoy Canada Day festivities freely and safely. The city's Emergency Operations Center will be mobilized for the Canada Day long weekend and will be working directly with the Ottawa Police Service through the National Capital Regional Command Center. In the lead up to Canada Day, the city's Special Event Advisory Team is working with Canadian Heritage to ensure that their plans prioritize public safety for residents and visitors in our downtown core. Throughout these entities, all city services will work together to ensure seamless operations throughout the week. Regarding ticketing and towing, throughout the week and on Canada Day especially, City of Ottawa bylaw and regulatory services will have officers out on downtown streets ensuring parking regulations are observed by all. All vehicles found failing to observe non-stopping zones will be ticketed and towed. On all roads, residents and visitors should expect regular signed parking bylaws will be enforced. Regarding other bylaws, there are several large public outdoor events and several smaller ones. On Canada Day, in wards across Ottawa, the special event advisory teams is also working with organizers and other community celebrations and is providing support to ensure safety of Canada Day celebrations citywide. This includes enforcement of all bylaws regarding noise, litter, fireworks, parking, and stopping. The focus is on ensuring the impacts to residents are minimized so that they continue to enjoy these special activities and businesses that they normally would. In summary, if you're going downtown, please expect delays and be aware that regulations may change over the coming days. For the most current road conditions, visit the city's interactive traffic map. You are encouraged to visit the Canada Day page on the city's website, ottawa.ca, and follow the city's social media channels on Facebook and Twitter to remain up to date on traffic and regulatory adjustments over the weekend. Working together, I'm confident we can all enjoy a safe and fun Canada Day weekend. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you very much, Kim. I would now like to invite Interim Chief Steve Bell, Ottawa Police Service.
Thank you very much, Kim. Thank you as well, Mr. Mayor and Chair El-Shantiri. The Ottawa Police Service and its partners have built a comprehensive public safety plan to ensure all residents and visitors can celebrate Canada Day in the capital this week. This is expected to be a unique Canada Day with larger crowds and a larger event footprint. We've developed our plans in the shadow of the unlawful protests and Rolling Thunder event. We have been speaking with community members and businesses. We're very aware of the lingering trauma and the concern about what they're hearing after those events. We have been gathering intelligence, speaking with organizers, and observing open source online commentary. All of these factors have guided our planning. Given what we know and what we're faced with, we have taken an enhanced and extended posture that starts well before the 1st of July and extends well past to ensure we properly protect our city. This will be no small task, but together we will do everything within our power to keep our city and our residents safe. Our planning team have been hard at work for weeks. They have created an operational plan encompassing all levels of events, including the Canadian Heritage events at LeBreton Flats, downtown core festivities, as well as suburban and rural community events. And it also includes multiple lawful measures to manage demonstrations, protests, and threat of occupation by convoys to our city. We've developed options for multiple scenarios. We're reaching out to our policing partners to gather the resources necessary. Multiple police services, including the Ontario Provincial Police and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, are coming forward with support to our efforts. While we're receiving support to staff this plan, we've had to take unprecedented measures to ensure every officer is available and police member is deployed. I want to thank all of our police members, sworn and civilian, who will be working this event through the week. The priority for us is public safety. This includes the community, crowd, and officer safety measures. We have the people, the skills, and the equipment to ensure that these events are safe and peaceful. We expect there to be demonstrations. This is a right of all Canadians and it will be protected. We will not, however, accept unlawful behavior, and we will not allow vehicle-based demonstrations in the motor vehicle control zone. Visitors and community members will see a significant police posture and presence throughout the city. This is necessary to support our ability to swiftly control the core for public safety reasons or support the city's vehicle control zone. We have multiple resources, including public order units, traffic teams, tow trucks, and quick response teams. We're prepared to take decisive and lawful action to deal with threats, occupation attempts, and other unlawful behavior that we observe. We have also been in regular contact with the Crown Attorney to ensure they understand our plans and are able to pursue criminal matters into the courts and support charges. We have authorities to enter public and private property on behalf of the property owners to remove anyone attempting to occupy or set up structures. Officers are currently being briefed and informed of their authorities under multiple federal, provincial, and municipal acts. Any enhanced security posture is a balancing act for the police service. We do not want to overshadow the festivities. We are also aware that there is a great deal of public interest in our public safety planning. We will ensure that residents are kept fully aware of all information we are able to provide. This has been a hard 2 years, and Canadians deserve the right to be able to recognize this day. Canada Day is important for this country. It gives us an opportunity to celebrate our country and reflect on how far we've come and how far we still need to go. Our police service and our partners will be here to ensure we can all celebrate Canada Day safely. To keep up with all important updates, I encourage you to follow us on Twitter at Ottawa Police. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. I will now invite each media agency to ask their question in their preferred language regarding the Canada Day operations. You may ask one question with one follow-up. We will begin with Rafi at CBC National.
Good morning. Thanks. The question would be for Chief Bell. Chief Bell, I wonder if you could tell me, when you say you spoke to organizers, do you mean organizers of the protests or organizers of the festivities, and what did they tell you in each case?
So what I can tell you is that we've had lots of conversations, both with organizers across the board. We're working very closely with City, and I'd like to thank Steve Kanalakis and all of his team for helping to support everything we've done through our planning phase. We've had really good conversations and connections with Heritage Canada, who's the main organizer of the downtown area. And we've had the opportunity, through intelligence we've gathered and open source reviews that we've done, to look at trying to make connection with the various different people who are indicating they may be coming to Ottawa to protest. So we've been very actively reaching out to everyone we can to make sure that we have the plans in place to manage anything that happens, and to make sure, most of all, that it's a safe and enjoyable day for everyone.
Thanks. And we know from some protests organizers that they intend to stay until after Labor Day, or until up to Labor Day. So what are the extra resources you've asked for, and how long do you expect those resources to be in town?
So obviously won't get into numbers of resources that we're bringing in, but what I can tell you is we've had extremely good cooperation through Commissioner Lucky and Commissioner Creek of the RCMP and the OPP to help us properly staff what we need to do. As long as there are public safety concerns, we will have operations in effect to manage those, regardless of how long they last. So we're right now focused on making sure that we have a safe and enjoyable Canada Day, and then we will be in an operational mode to support our community safety until any sort of protest or demonstration is completed.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Moving on, we will go to Michelle Allen at CBC.
Thank you. My question is, when OPS started clearing the original process back in February, I remember Interim Chief Bell said that OPS was working to identify the people involved and hold them accountable. So multiple Freedom Convoy organizers like Tom Marazzo are now, meeting with MPs, planning additional protests in Ottawa this week. I'd like to know if OPS still maintains that they're going to hold people accountable, and I'd like to know what message this sends to residents by not charging people like Mr. Marazzo and allowing them to organize more protests.
So we actively followed up on many investigations, and I think at the culmination of the removal of the illegal occupation of our streets, the illegal protest, you saw us announce the number of charges around key leaders that we had laid. We continue to do work. We continue to do investigations. We continue to monitor those people we have charged and the activity of other people moving ahead. I can tell you we take organizing of anything unlawful very seriously, as you saw at the end of the convoy, and we'll continue to conduct those investigations, see them through the court, and conduct any other sort of investigations to hold people accountable if they're encouraging or allowing for illegal activity in our streets.
My follow-up is, in terms of like building public trust, I remember it was said that there'd be some sort of investigation into what role, if any, OPS members played in the protest. And it's my understanding that's almost done. What are the results of that investigation, and how could it help instill confidence in police going forward into this next protest?
So I was very clear at the time about the fact I had zero tolerance for anyone internally who would support any sort of illegal activity. Those investigations are continuing. We are nearing the end of them, and we'll have announcements on the outcome of those shortly.
Thank you very much. We'll now go to Chris Curries at City News Ottawa.
Hi, good morning. My first question is kind of what were the considerations behind the motor vehicle control zone as it currently is, and not including other nearby areas, for example, the Byward Market, considering we may be expecting hundreds or potentially thousands of protesters? Maybe you could also maybe fill us in on a bit of a range of how many you're expecting.
I can start by answering that. Thanks, Chris. With regards to the control zones, the city is meeting with its partners and with police, and it's an ongoing discussion with regards to what could be added and what streets might be added. And I can tell you right now, we're currently having those discussions regarding other areas such as the market. So you'll have to stay tuned. Again, this is a planning exercise that we go through, and we hope to look at positive changes in the near future. I don't know if Chief Bell can add anything to that as well. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for that, Kim. So just to build on that a bit, we continue to evaluate public safety as we move ahead. We continue, and we will right up through the event, continue to bring in intelligence and open source, as well as observe crowd dynamics. We've put a footprint in place for a motor vehicle control zone that could change through the week depending on the information that we're receiving. In terms of estimation of number of people coming, we expect hundreds of thousands of people to be down in the LeBreton Flats and in the downtown core to celebrate Canada Day. Because you have to remember, this whole planning is around the need for us to make sure and ensure there is a safe and festive environment down there. And that's the plans we've put in place to make sure that people can come down to our city core, enjoy the businesses that are down there, enjoy the festivities that are occurring, and celebrate what is the day to celebrate the country we live
in. And just to follow up, you mentioned, Interim Chief Bell, that you were talking to multiple organizers across the spectrum. Just on the community level, what do you think is the confidence level of residents that they will feel safe on Friday, just going about their day-to-day business, maybe going to Canada Day, maybe not?
So that's been a major consideration and a major thrust of all of the efforts that we've engaged in. We've actually had meetings with different affected community groups, whether it be Centertown or Byward Market or other areas that have been previously affected by the illegal occupation of our streets. So we take the harm and trauma that those members, those citizens experienced during the last event very close to our heart as we develop all of our planning. What I can tell you is We've developed very comprehensive plans that have a focus on public safety and specifically focus on the safety for the people that live in and around those areas, as well as the people coming down to attend the event. So we do have good plans in place. We're very confident with the plans, and we're encouraging people to come down and lawfully enjoy Canada Day.
Thank you very much. We'll now go to Mackenzie Gray at CTV National.
Hi, Chief. I think the residents of the city, many of them, the scars of the convoy are still fresh, and they heard a lot of the same things you've said today about having a plan and being able to execute, and that didn't happen in January and February. Why should people trust that it's going to be different this time than it was when the convoy first came here?
So you're absolutely right. There are deep scars and wounds held by the people that live in those areas. That's something that, as I said, we've very much focused on in terms of our planning effort, as well as in our communications effort. As you've seen over 2 incidents since the convoy was removed from our streets, we've taken a very different posture in terms of how we plan, how we stage, and how we protect our residents. So we learned a lot during the convoy, and you've seen those pieces be put in place over a couple different incidents that went off with public safety front of mind, and were both successful.
I want to go back to the idea of you speaking with the convoy organizers. I don't think you really answered that question. Have you had conversations with them? What did they tell you? And did they give you assurances that they're going to respect the restrictions that you put in place here in Ottawa?
So I won't get into the details of those conversations. We have a police liaison team, and one of their key responsibilities is to reach out to anyone that's actually trying to organize a protest or demonstration in our city. They do that on every case and have done that in this case. As we know, there's multiple groups that formed the ultimate occupation of our streets in February. So we're trying to identify and work to identify as many organizers and leaders within those groups to have conversations. And in those conversations, we really clearly set our expectations in terms of public safety and lawful protests. So those conversations will go on and will continue until the events are over.
Thank you. Following up, we'll go to Brian Mullen at Global News. Brian, are you on the line? We'll go to, on va passer à Charles Fontaine, à Le Droit. Est-ce qu'on a Charles Fontaine sur la ligne?
Oui, moi je me demandais si, étant donné que la majorité des manifestations semblent se diriger autour de la colline parlementaire, puis les festivités se déroulent majoritairement en Plaine-le-Breton, je me demandais si c'était autant un danger pour les festivaliers. Je me demandais si la sécurité allait avoir aussi lieu au Plaine-le-Breton. Est-ce que c'est autant un danger pour les gens qui vont participer à la fête?
Kim Ayotte, je pense que c'est une question pour toi.
Ben, il y a toujours un risque quand on parle de 2 différents groupes qui viennent de la même région. Je peux te laisser savoir qu'il n'y a aucun intent de laisser les manifestants de rentrer dans notre ville puis de causer des problèmes et je dirais briser la loi. On va être là en toute force avec la police et aussi avec nos agents de réglementaires municipaux pour donner les amendes, pour contrôler la situation. La police est bien préparée pour essayer de aider au groupe pour qu'il n'y ait pas de danger. C'est toute la priorité pour nous autres, c'est de savoir que, pas de savoir, mais d'être préparés pour faire sûr que les manifestants et ceux qui vont pour célébrer la Journée du Canada le fassent en sécurité et qu'il n'y a pas de chicane ou il n'y a pas de démonstration. Les polices, ils vont être là pour aider si le risque est plus élevé.
Est-ce que la police aurait quelque chose à ajouter? Frank Daou, est-ce que vous avez quelque chose à ajouter?
Oui, je pourrais ajouter que nos équipes de planification, on travaille d'arrache-pied depuis les dernières semaines et puis on a mis au point un plan opérationnel en perspective des événements en toutes les envergures. On a mis le focus sur les activités du patrimoine canadien au Plaine le Breton, les festivités du centre-ville ainsi que les activités de banlieue et en campagne. Donc, nos plans opérationnels comprennent un éventail de mesures légitimes pour gérer les manifestations et la menace des occupations et de convois.
Merci beaucoup. Charles, est-ce que tu as une question de suivi?
Ça répond à mes questions, merci.
Merci beaucoup. We'll now go to Jackie Miller at the Ottawa Citizen.
Hi there. I was wondering if you could clarify. The freedom groups have said that they plan to hold events on the lawn of the Supreme Court all day, including concerts and speeches, as well as a dance party on Parliament Hill in the evening. Do they need a permit to hold such an event on the lawn of the Supreme Court? And if so, do they have it? Or is that just considered a legal protest? Same for Parliament Hill.
So we do have there is a permit issuing process that people are expected to go through. We have received information around those intents through social media and intelligence, not through the permit process. And we have responses in place. What I can tell you is, as long as people are attending and acting lawfully, there's no issues with them conducting protests. But you aren't allowed to set up structures. You're not going to be allowed to set up speakers to have a dance party or any sort of tents to be able to camp or have any sort of structures. And we've been very clear on that. So as long as protests are lawful and in places where they're allowed to be, there won't be an issue. As soon as they do bridge and become unlawful, we'll take swift and decisive action to end them.
Thank you. My next question is about June 30th, when James Topp plans to, and his entourage plan to march right from the west end of Ottawa all the way through town to the National War Memorial. They have said they will be escorted by police for safety reasons. Can you give us some idea of what to expect? Will city streets be closed for all those events too?
So we have plans in place to be able to make sure that public and community safety are first and foremost in any sort of demonstration or walk march that's occurring. We have been in contact with Mr. Topp and his group and have plans in place to ensure that he can safely and lawfully move from the west end of the city down to the Parliament Hill building. So we do have those plans in place, and we will execute on those plans to make sure that everyone's safety is foremost.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nous allons maintenant passer à Frédéric Pépin à Radio-Canada.
Oui, parfait. Merci, Kina. J'aimerais vous entendre un peu, maybe this question, une question pour la police, à savoir si, est-ce que on a vu pendant les motocyclistes, l'activité de la police était beaucoup concentrée sur l'avenue Wellington, près du mémorial de la guerre et près du Parlement. Mais maintenant, il semble que le périmètre va être beaucoup plus élargi, que ça va être plus important puisqu'il va y avoir des rassemblements sur la colline Le Breton. Est-ce que la police sera en mesure de sécuriser tous ces secteurs-là avec les effectifs qui seront disponibles?
Oui, merci pour la question, Frédéric. Donc, notre plan opérationnel tient en compte la plus grande espace cette année de la colline parlementaire jusqu'au plaine Le Breton. Donc, on a le plan mis en place. On a les effectifs ici pour nous assister. Donc, on est fort confiant que la zone des festivités va être une zone sécuritaire.
I have another question, maybe, and I would like to hear you, Chief Bell, on this one, and maybe also, if possible, Mayor Watson after en français. But Chief Bell, we saw when there was the protest with, you know, when the bikers, the weekend that the bikers came back with their protest, we saw that the Friday night tensions escalated, you know, and police had to also escalate their presence. You guys came out with police forces with the shields, helmets, and all that. Later on, after the protest had already started in front of Parliament, and there was some sort of you know, there were arrests and all of that near Rideau Center. So are you expecting that there might be the same type of tension and it might need to escalate? And if so, are you prepared to meet the protesters if it escalates in violence?
So as we've indicated throughout this press conference and throughout many other occasions, we're planned, we're prepared, and we have the resources. In that, I actually don't want to lose the focus on what Canada Day is. It's an opportunity for people to come down and celebrate our nation. We've put plans in place to make sure that anyone from across Canada can come down and safely celebrate Canada Day. If there is unlawful behavior, we have plans and the staffing in place to actually deal with that and manage it. You've seen through Rolling Thunder our ability to actually do that. But I don't want that to be the focus on everything that is occurring. Canada Day is a very sacred day in this country, and people need to be able and be assured that the police and all of our partners and all the city have their safety front and center, and that they can come down and participate in those festive events.
I did ask to have maybe a comment en français from you, Mr. Watson, on this, on the possibility that Monsieur le maire, qu'il puisse y avoir de la violence comme on avait vu lors de Rolling Thunder.
Oui, oui, certainement, Frédéric. J'ai beaucoup de confiance avec Monsieur Bell et son équipe parce qu'on avait des exemplaires comme le Motorcycle Ride il y a quelques semaines. Le plan est bon et le plan respecte les lois de le pays, mais en même temps demande à les personnes qui font des choses illégales, il y a des conséquences pour ça. Et j'ai toujours dit, cette fin de semaine et le 1er juillet, c'est une période très importante pour le patrimoine de notre pays et pour l'industrie touristique et les petites entreprises. Et c'est le temps pour célébrer notre pays. Si vous avez des problèmes avec le gouvernement du Canada ou avec des politiques de palier du gouvernement, vous avez le droit de faire une manifestation, mais en même temps, vous n'avez pas le droit de ruin it for everyone else. La grande moitié des personnes qui arrivent pour la fête du Canada sont des personnes qui respectent les lois et demandent le paix. Et s'il y a des personnes qui violer la loi, il y a des conséquences. Et comme M. Bell a dit, c'est pas une deuxième ou troisième chance. Si vous avez violé la loi, il y a des conséquences. Et les conséquences coûtent beaucoup de l'argent à la même temps.
Merci beaucoup. Nous allons maintenant passer à Amanda Moisan à TVA Gatineau.
Oui, merci. Je crois que ça a déjà été abordé, mais j'aimerais avoir une réponse en français si possible. Donc, je pense que vous avez dit que vous êtes en contact avec les organisateurs des manifestations. Où on en est dans la mise à jour avec ça? Est-ce qu'on sait combien de manifestations il y aura? Combien de personnes seront présentes également?
Donc, oui, nous sommes en contact avec les organisateurs comme toute autre manifestation dans notre ville. Donc, nous avons une équipe de liaison policière qui essaie de rentrer en contact et discuter avec les nombreux organisateurs de différentes manifestations légales et pacifiques. Donc ça, le travail continue de plusieurs semaines passées jusqu'à travers la semaine, jusqu'à la fin des festivités. Donc, quant au nombre de visiteurs, de gens, de célébrants, Comme il a été indiqué, il va y avoir des centaines de milliers d'individus qui vont venir célébrer la fête du Canada au centre-ville, dans notre ville, comme on a fait dans les années passées.
Excellent, merci. Puis, question aussi par rapport aux effectifs policiers. Vous dites donc que vous travaillez avec vos partenaires. Est-ce qu'on a fait appel, comme on a déjà vu aussi avec les autres manifestations, à d'autres corps policiers des régions, de d'autres régions?
Oui, absolument. Il y a plusieurs corps policiers, dont la GRC, la police provinciale de l'Ontario, qui nous ont aidés, qui nous ont manifesté concrètement leur appui, ainsi que plusieurs services de police municipaux à travers le pays. Donc, on travaille main en main pour planifier notre plan opérationnel, considérant ces effectifs qui vont nous donner main forte.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup à tous. Thank you, everyone. Did I miss any media outlets? Is Global News on the line? Okay, well, this concludes our media availability, everybody. Ceci conclut notre point de presse. Thank you very much. Have a great day.